Chapter 1 Tired. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You punch in the final code, slam the enter key, and the security door slides open. Cheng Ling spat blood, ditched her laptop, grabbed the AK-47 from the ground, and wiped her mouth with the back of her hand. Her skin was a mess. In the shadows, a pair of eyes gleamed. She took shallow breaths. Peering out, a spotlight flashed in her direction. She yanked down her protective glasses, hit the ground rolling, and took cover behind a rock. Chef Ling. Or should I call you Agent Cheng? I know you're in there. The voice was smooth, almost feminine. Come on out. I promise, I'll let the kids go. Cheng Ling scoffed. She glanced at her wrist-mounted thermal scanner. A bunch of kids were huddled in the courtyard, surrounded by armed thugs. Silently, she counted, 1, 2, 3, 11, 12. She pulled the last magazine from her belt and slapped it into the AK. The next time the spotlight swept her way, Cheng Ling moved. She touched her toes to the ground and used her free hand to fire a grappling hook at the wall. The hook bit, and she wrapped the rope around her wrist, kicking off hard. She launched herself towards the wall like a cannonball. Thugs lined the wall, protecting the target, the drug lord. There. Shoot her. Get the light on her. Don't let her near the boss. Barat, star, bullets zipped past. Estimating her speed, she dodged them like a fish in the sea. Reaching the wall, she gripped the rope, and, with her other arm, raised the heavy AK, hosing the thugs down with lead. The recoil slammed into her wounded shoulder. The pain made her want to scream. Her hands and feet didn't hesitate. Hanging from the rope, she scrambled up, eliminating the gunmen surrounding the hostages. A bullet tore through her arm, the one holding the gun. Gasping, she dropped the weapon and pulled herself up. The drug lord was right there. Protect the boss. Cheng Ling weaved between bullets, kicking off the wall and spinning in the air. She landed, springing forward, and drawing a dagger from her boot. They had guns. She had a knife, but she was a wolf among sheep, tearing through their defenses. She peeled back the layers of guards, revealing the drug lord. She approached him, dagger in hand. He was young, blonde, and blue-eyed. He gave a sad smile. So that's why you never took me up on my offer. Cheng Ling stared at him. He sighed. You learned to cook because I liked food, right? You're better than any Michelin chef. Too bad I'll never get to taste it again. Her face was stone. His eyes flickered with hate and regret, and then he smiled. Agent Cheng, aren't you curious how I found out who you were? Your disguise was so good, I never had a chance. Shut up. Cheng Ling snapped. He looked at her. Guess you don't suspect anyone. Whatever. Doesn't matter to me. Goodbye. Then she heard the tink of metal on concrete. A grenade pin. Cheng Ling dove for cover behind a pillar. Boom. Star, the drug lord and the men who hadn't moved fast enough were blown to bits. The blast knocked Cheng Ling deaf, and she saw stars. 10 seconds later, she opened her eyes. Silence. Her hearing was probably still gone from the explosion. She tried to move her wounded arm, and pain ripped through her. She raised her good arm and touched her face. Part of her scalp had been torn off by the explosion. She was covered in sticky blood, hers or theirs, she didn't know. Staggering, she pushed herself to her feet. Then, through the ringing in her ears, her hearing returned, and she heard footsteps behind her. Good job, Ling. A man in his 50s or 60s, with graying blonde hair and blue eyes, clapped his hands, stepping over the bodies. A tailored suit, meticulously combed hair, and politician's eyes. Cheng Ling frowned, wiping her mouth. What are you doing here? It's not safe. He waved dismissively. The dozen or so bodyguards who followed him fanned out. I trust you to get the job done. He looked at her. How long have you been with me, Ling? Godfather, you took me in when I was a baby. 28 years. He seemed lost in thought. 28 years. Cheng Ling stood straight, hands clasped behind her back. Yes. He smiled. Loosen up. She nodded, but didn't move. What have you done for me? How many have you killed? He propped his chin on his hand. You learned piano and violin to infiltrate. Cooking. You're a crack shot, a computer whiz, you even learned to act. All those years, all that work. Something felt wrong, but she answered like a soldier. It wasn't hard. It was my duty. I thought Smith would be tougher, he said with a sigh. Smith was the drug lord she had just killed. Cheng Ling frowned. If he had been, I wouldn't have to take care of you myself. She froze, bang, an instant of heat, then cold. She looked down. A hole in her chest, blood blossoming around the edges. She crumpled to the ground. She tried to look up, to see his face through the blood in her eyes. He pulled a white handkerchief from his pocket and wiped the blood from his hand and cheek, staring down at her. You know too much. I can't have you running around, making things difficult. Goodbye, Ling. The promise of a life of freedom after this was a lie. She had wanted to live seriously, enjoy life. Why couldn't she? How could he, of all people, ever let her go? She coughed, blood bubbling as she tried to smile. She clutched her chest, but her strength was fading. She wanted to say something, but what was the point? Forget it, that's it, she was so tired. Chapter 2 Drowning. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The emergency room was chaos. Why'd you drag me into this? I didn't make her drown. The actress, Shinman, glared at the motionless girl on the hospital bed, clearly annoyed. The girl's face was pale. Her hair, soaked from the ocean, fanned out on the pillow like seaweed. She was completely still, like she was already gone. But my daughter's accident happened after she went to your villa. A beautiful woman, her face etched with sorrow, clutched at Shinman's arm. Okay, I threw the swimsuit party, but Cheng Ling wasn't invited. She crashed it. I could have her arrested for trespassing. Shinman yanked her arm away. Ling is a strong swimmer. She can swim across the bay by herself. The woman choked back a sob. Yeah, well, good swimmers drown too, you know. Shinman snapped, rolling her eyes. Besides, your daughter's an adult. She's responsible for her own safety. I'm not her babysitter. The woman started to speak, but a harsh beep cut her off. Beep. Everyone in the room watched as the faint, pulsing line on the heart monitor flatlined. A nurse shrieked, Code. She's coding. Get the crash cart. Defibrillator, now. Medical personnel sprang into action. They slapped the paddles onto the girl's chest and charged them. Her body arched off the bed like a fish out of water before slamming back down. Increase the juice. 3, 2, 1. Again. Shinman and the girl's mother both stared, transfixed, at the straight line on the monitor. Then, a tiny blip appeared, followed by another, and another, until a regular rhythm began to emerge. It was like a beautiful, two-dimensional dance. The girl's mother covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face, not caring how she looked. Shinman cursed under her breath and slipped out the emergency room door. Unnoticed by the distraught mother, she found the stairwell, pulled out her cell phone, and dialed a number. It was answered almost immediately. No one saw anything, right? Shinman whispered. The voice on the other end chuckled. Don't you trust me? Shinman clicked her tongue, annoyed. The voice continued, relax. The kayak and wetsuit are gone. Everyone will say you were having tea with friends when Cheng Ling went into the water. We have no idea what happened. Shinman smiled, satisfied. She tugged at the sleeve of her son's shirt, frowning. That little brat almost scratched my arm. Left red marks even through the wetsuit. How is Cheng Ling? The other person asked. Shinman cursed silently. Damn it, she's still alive. Her heart stopped, but they shocked her, and it started again. There was a pause on the other end. If she wakes up, will she? Shinman cut them off with a sneer. Don't worry. I was wearing a wetsuit and holding her under from behind. She didn't see me. Did she see us doing party favors together? The voice was sharper now. What if she saw something and starts talking when she wakes up? Then you'll be making headlines on the evening news, Shinman said, a hint of amusement in her voice. Silence. Shinman pulled out a slim cigarette, lit it with a flick of her lighter, and took a long drag. A minute passed. Finally, the voice spoke. I'll take care of it. But I'm warning you, keep your mouth shut. Shinman breathed a sigh of relief, though she kept her tone casual. My publicist made me take elocution lessons for 2 years straight because she was afraid I'd say the wrong thing in front of the cameras. The other person grunted and hung up. Shinman scoffed and tossed the phone back into her bag. They think she's going to take the fall alone. Dream on. A cleaning lady rounded the corner, pushing a cart. Seeing Shinman smoking, she called out, "Hey! No smoking in the hospital." Shinman rolled her eyes, took one last drag, then dropped the cigarette on the floor. She ground it out with the heel of her expensive, rhinestone-studded shoe and, ignoring the cleaning lady's complaints, turned and left. Inside the emergency room, Cheng's mother sobbed with relief. "Thank you, doctor. Thank you, nurse. Thank you." The doctor replied in a professional tone, "The patient is out of immediate danger, but she'll need to be hospitalized for observation. We'll need your cooperation." Outside the door, Shinman bit her lip, turned on her heel, and sashayed out of the hospital. While Cheng's mother was calling, Cheng's father and brother, Cheng Baisheng, were dealing with an overseas cyber attack at their company. When they heard Cheng Ling was in danger of drowning, they dropped everything, raced to the airport, and caught the first flight to Haishur. After 5 hours of travel, they rushed to the hospital, only to find Cheng Ling still unconscious. Cheng's mother was at her bedside. Cheng's father and brother burst into the room. "How's Xiaoling?" Seeing her husband and son, Cheng's mother suddenly seemed to collapse. She stood up, swaying. "Old Cheng, Baisheng." Her legs gave way, and she fainted. Fortunately, Cheng Baisheng caught her, yelling for help. After a flurry of activity, Cheng's mother was settled on an empty bed in the same room. Cheng Baisheng finished the hospital paperwork, talked to the doctors and nurses, and returned to the room. Cheng's father handed him a bottle of water. He watched his son gulp down half of it before wiping his mouth. "Do you know where Ling's accident happened?" Cheng Baisheng wiped his forehead with a handkerchief, set the bottle down, and said grimly, "I had someone look into it. It happened at Shinman's beach house." "That actress? What was she doing at her house?" Cheng's father glanced at his pale daughter. Cheng Baisheng sat down heavily on the stool and sighed. "It was about Bai Muchuan." "Figures," Cheng's father said. "Did you call the police?" "We reported it. They searched the villa. They're calling it an accidental drowning. We'll get the official report tomorrow." Cheng's father loosened his tie, irritated. His daughter had been chasing that guy forever, and he couldn't even show up when her life was on the line. Didn't she realize she was wasting her time? Her mother was smart. His eldest son and youngest daughter were successful in business. But his eldest daughter, he'd spent a fortune trying to help her make it in show business, but she just didn't have what it took. Neither of them noticed Cheng Ling's eyes flutter open. Chapter 3 Soul Transmigration. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cheng Baisheng twisted the cap off a water bottle and handed it to his dad, who was sitting in a chair. He was clearly worried. "Dad, why do you think my sister is such a sucker for love?" His father took the water, sighing. "I'm not against her dating. It's just her taste in men is awful. That Bai Muchuan guy looks like a plucked chicken. What does she even see in him?" Cheng Baisheng watched his father gulp down half the bottle in one go, clearly agitated. "Maybe he just needs some time. Maybe he'll grow up after a few setbacks. I hope so." His father sighed, set down the bottle, and pinched the bridge of his nose. "You just saw the doctor. How long did they say she'd be in a coma?" "The doctor said it depends on her physical condition. No guarantees." Cheng Baisheng stood up and walked toward the bed. "She took a big hit this time. Hopefully, she'll learn something." He stopped mid-sentence. Cheng Ling was sitting up in bed, hand raised, something small flew through the air. Cheng Baixing instinctively ducked. It hit his father square in the face. He turned to see it was just a pillow, but before he could fully relax, he heard a whoosh behind him. Cheng Ling had sprung into action, grabbing the back of Cheng Baixing's head. Before he could react, she yanked his hair to the right, forcing his head to turn. Then, he felt a cold prick against the left side of his neck where his carotid artery was visibly bulging. It was the 4-needle, still stuck in the back of Cheng Ling's hand. Her voice, raspy from nearly drowning, whispered in his ear, "Don't move unless you want to die." Their father was still stunned from the pillow incident. When he finally registered what was happening, he saw his daughter, looking like a cornered animal, holding a needle to his son's throat. His naive daughter, the one who'd been so spoiled she only knew how to have fun, was now using Cheng Baixing as a shield, one eye peeking out, watching him warily. She looked as fierce and fearless as a wounded cheetah ready to fight to the death. Cheng Ling used the moment to take in the whole room. She fought to suppress the dizziness and keep her breathing steady, trying to stop her hands from shaking. When did I get so weak? She glanced at her arm, pale, delicate, smooth as an eggshell. It was clear she'd been pampered. Where are my muscles? If it weren't for her willpower, forcing herself to use every ounce of strength, she might not even be able to hold her brother's head in place. Her father bent down to pick up the pillow. "Don't touch it." Cheng Ling snapped. Her father immediately pulled back his hand and raised both hands in a sign of surrender. Okay, I won't." Cheng Ling spoke, her voice hoarse. "Why am I here?" Cheng Baixing's neck was killing him, but he didn't dare move. "Xiao Ling, what's wrong?" her father asked. Xiao Ling The name hit Cheng Ling like a bullet. She flinched, instinctively looking down at her chest. No bandages, no splints, no pain at all. The bullet had entered her back and exited her chest, taking half her heart with it. It was real, but now, something was definitely wrong. Her mind was racing, unable to process the bizarre situation. She didn't have enough information to figure out who the man sitting on the stool was, or how the guy she was holding hostage fit into the picture. Cheng Baixing felt his sister trembling behind him. "Hey, if you don't let go, I'm going to have a bald spot." "Brother." Cheng Ling was confused. Cheng Baixing continued, "Dad, stop spectating and help me out. She just woke up after drowning. Jerking around like this could cause a second collapse." Dad, Cheng Ling was reeling. The door opened and a doctor walked in, followed by 3 nurses. They froze when they saw Cheng Ling holding her brother hostage. An older nurse frowned and hurried over. She gently pried Cheng Ling's hand off the needle and guided her back to the bed, tucking her in. "I've never seen patients and family like you. She just pulled through, and you're already fighting." Cheng Ling lay back, dazed. She heard her father asking the doctor, "Hey, doc, what's wrong with my daughter?" She woke up, threw a pillow at me, and asked me who I was. "Does she have amnesia or something? Is she having a flashback?" Cheng Baixing rubbed his neck. "Dad, don't say flashback. What is this, a movie?" "Knock on wood." Her father clicked his tongue. Cheng Ling's mind was spinning. Her adoptive father's dark humor. No way. "My adoptive father doesn't have a funny bone in his body." Did the bullet miss? She knew her body inside and out. The bullet tore through her heart. Fatal? Brain transplant. Did they perfect consciousness transfer ahead of schedule? What's happening? The doctor questioned her father about the situation and then approached the bed. Cheng Ling sat up and glanced at the window. It was pitch black outside. The bright room light reflected her image back to her, pale face, watery eyes, looking fragile. Who the hell is this? Cheng Ling's eyes widened in shock. The doctor examined her head and eyes, doing a quick exam but finding nothing unusual. He frowned and turned to her father. "She's out of danger, and there's no sign of head trauma, but we'll need to schedule more tests to get a clear picture. It could be that she's suffering from shock. Please be gentle and patient with her." "Okay, thank you, doctor," her father replied. "Hit the call button if you need anything. The 4 needs to continue. Call the nurse when it's almost empty." "Will do. Thanks for everything." Cheng Baixing said. The doctor checked on Cheng's mother in the other bed, gave a few instructions, and left with the nurses. As soon as the door closed, her father and brother came to her side. Cheng Ling's eyes were unfocused, and she looked frightened. They exchanged a look, and Cheng Baixing asked carefully, Do you remember your name? Cheng Ling's eyes snapped into focus, her expression guarded. Honey, are you having some kind of movie-style amnesia? Her father asked. It's even more ridiculous than a movie. It's a soul swap, star. She remained silent, staring blankly. Cheng Baixing was getting anxious. He grabbed her shoulders. Cheng Ling, this is serious. If you're pulling some kind of amnesia stunt to get out of trouble for this drowning incident, I'm warning you, stop it now. I'm not kidding. Cheng Ling shifted her gaze from her father to Cheng Baixing. He had thick eyebrows and big eyes, looked good, but he didn't seem to be the scheming type. His anxiety seemed genuine. She processed the information. 1. Cheng Ling same name. But who knows if it's spelled the same, *2. Drowning. This body ended up in the hospital because of drowning, *3. Trouble. The people claiming to be her brother and father care about her, but the original owner must have done something bad that led to the drowning, Cheng Ling cleared her throat. I really lost my memory. I only remember my name is Cheng Ling. I don't remember who you are. I don't remember anything else or anyone. Chapter 4 Murder. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cheng Baixing's voice boomed. Cheng Ling, cut the crap. Mr. Cheng calmly patted Cheng Baixing's shoulder. Easy there, don't scare her. But, Dad. Cheng Baixing frowned. She's got amnesia, son. Cheng Baixing exploded. Dad. Stop messing around with her. I'm not messing around. Think about it, did she seem like she was faking it? That he had a point. Cheng Baixing let go of her. If she were that good an actress, the Cheng family wouldn't have spent a fortune for nothing. Plus, Cheng Baixing rubbed his head. It still felt like it was on fire. He thought she'd ripped his scalp right off. Cheng Ling was floored. Was she more shocked by this father and son's reasoning or by the original owner's acting? They stared at each other. Cheng Ling cleared her throat, shifted in the hospital bed, and apologized to Cheng Baixing, who was still rubbing his head. Sorry about that. I got a little carried away. Hair was a precious commodity for men his age. Cheng Baixing reluctantly lowered his hand, trying to act like it was no big deal. It's okay, it's okay. We're basically Chewbacca's cousins on my mom's side. So, you're saying you lost your memory. What do you remember? Cheng Ling bit her lip. She could con a bad guy any day, but she couldn't lie to these people who cared about her. Damn. I don't remember anything. Not even my name or my past. A flicker of anxiety crossed Cheng Ling's face. She hated the unknown. Her usual MO was to gather intel so she'd be ready for anything. This blind spot feeling freaked her out. Mr. Cheng noticed the look. He bent down, fluffed the pillow behind her back, and said, Baixing, why don't you fill your sister in on things? Cheng Ling lowered her eyes. Her dad was a perceptive dude, she thought. Okay, Cheng Baixing said, dragging a stool over. The original Cheng Ling, now housing her soul, was 21, studying acting, and a solid nobody in the entertainment world for the last year and a half. There were 3 Cheng kids. Cheng Baixing was 8 years older and single. And there was a younger sister, Cheng Mianhu, 17 and a high school junior. They lived in Maple City. Cheng Ling frowned. Maple City? A doctor and nurse had just checked in, and she'd seen the name tag on the doctor. High Central Hospital. Cheng Baixing saw her frown. What's wrong? You okay? Cheng Ling shook her head. I'm fine. Keep going. But Cheng Baixing was stuck. Looking at his sister in the bed, who acted like she was a completely different person. It felt weird just laying it all out for her. Seeing Cheng Baixing pause, Cheng Ling gave him an opening, information she was desperate for. What does our family do? Cheng Ling had already noticed the shirts and suits on Mr. Cheng and her brother. They were high quality, perfectly tailored, and logo-free. Clearly custom-made and expensive, Mr. Cheng's tie clip was a hummingbird with sapphire eyes, an Italian luxury brand. That tie clip alone cost more than most working-class people made in a month. Our family. Cheng Baixing cleared his throat, glanced at his father, and then said, Grandpa started in tires, and Grandma sold dried seafood. Now we're mainly in tech talent services and seafood. Food, restaurants, cars, real estate, we dabble. Cheng Ling raised an eyebrow. With that kind of money, shouldn't she have been studying business to join the family empire? Why the heck would she want to be an actress? Don't look at me like that. It's not like we didn't want you in the business, Mr. Cheng said, reading her mind like a book. The whole family begged you to come work for us. You wouldn't hear of it. You had to go into acting and claim that it was your duty to let the whole world appreciate your beauty, otherwise it was a waste. It's a shame you've been at it for so long, and there is no role worth mentioning. Oh, you also said there were tons of hot guys in the industry, making it easy to score a date. Cheng Ling, that was unexpected. The original owner was a total nympho. This was giving Cheng Ling a headache. The family thing was manageable, but if she had a boyfriend, how would she handle it? Cheng Ling tried to keep her voice neutral as she asked, so, who's my boyfriend right now? Ha! Mr. Cheng scoffed. Boyfriend? You've been in the business forever and your dating record is nada. You can't act, you can't date. You like them, they don't like you, they like you, you don't like them. Mr. Cheng ranted like he'd been holding it in for years. Our family is loaded, right? No one's after me for my money. Cheng Ling asked bluntly. Mr. Cheng leaned back, folded his hands over his stomach, and said, You're actually pretty sharp. No one knows who you are. When you went into the industry, we agreed you wouldn't use the Cheng family name. Only your agent and the head of the company know who you really are. Cheng Ling processed all that. She had a pretty good handle on the situation now. Time to ask the big question, if I live and study in Maple City, how did I end up drowning in high? Mr. Cheng and Cheng Baixing exchanged a look. Cheng Ling sensed something. She straightened. What? What's wrong with my drowning? Mr. Cheng lowered his legs and leaned forward, his expression serious. Something's fishy. You might have forgotten, but swimming is the one thing you're actually good at. You've been playing in the waves with your grandfather since you were a little kid. A few days ago, you said you wanted to come to high. When I asked who you were going with, you said you were going alone. Your mother was worried, so she flew over with you. This morning, you snuck off to Zinman's beach house while your mom was browsing at the duty-free store. Cheng Ling pounced on it. Who's Zinman? Never mind Zinman. She's just an actress. You went to her villa because you had to come to high. Xian Man was throwing a beach party, and she invited Bai Muchuan. This time, Mr. Cheng cut her off before she could ask. Bai Muchuan is a hot actor. You've got a crush on him and went to high to get close to him. I told you to give up. You almost died after they pulled you out of the water, and he didn't even bother to show up at the hospital, so there's no chance between you two. Mr. Cheng seized every opportunity to talk Cheng Ling out of it. Cheng Ling stayed focused. Where was this Bai Muchuan when it happened? Who pulled me out and brought me to the hospital? How did my mom find out? Cheng Ling glanced at the unconscious woman in the bed next to them. The woman was in her 40s and looked good. But even unconscious, she was frowning. Mr. Cheng studied Cheng Ling. Her daughter had amnesia, but why did she seem smarter? He chose his words carefully. Bai Muchuan was filming a commercial at the high TV station. The incident happened out at sea, way out from Xinman's villa. The guy who rescued you on a jet ski said he didn't see anyone else around, but he didn't think much of it. You were in bad shape and couldn't move. Lucky he spotted you when he did. Lucky? No. It was too late. The original owner was dead, which was why he, a lost soul, was able to move in. Mr. Cheng saw his daughter's thoughtful face and asked tentatively, so? Remember anything? Cheng Ling shook her head. Mr. Cheng exhaled and went on, anyway, you are the one who called the police. And when your mom found out you were missing from the mall, she freaked out and went to the police station. They got a call about you and brought her to the hospital. After confirming your identity, they called Shinman to get the whole story. Xin man was having tea with friends and had an alibi. Plus, the people at the villa said you left after wandering around without finding Bai Muchuan. A little over an hour later, you had your accident. Was there surveillance at the villa? No. These celebrities get together to let their hair down. If there were cameras, no one would show up. Cheng Baixing waited for his father to finish, then jumped in. The cops also went to the villa and asked around. They're going to give us a report soon. They think it was an accidental drowning. No. It was no accident. Cheng Ling was still wearing the dress she had worn when she supposedly drowned, and there were still traces of makeup on her face. You wouldn't put on makeup to go swimming in the ocean, would you? It's like getting dressed up for a date, and, out of the Cheng family's sight, Cheng Ling rubbed her fingertips with her thumb. There was a raw pain under her nails. She knew what that meant. That was what happened when you gripped something smooth too hard, separating the nail from the flesh. She had been gripping something slippery in the water too tightly. Mr. Cheng and his son started whispering in hushed tones. Cheng Ling put her hand in front of her nose and looked closely. There was something small and black between the nails of her right middle finger. She took it out and rubbed it. It was rubber. Given the location, it probably came from a wetsuit. Wetsuit, little sister, it looks like you were murdered. Chapter 5 Revenge. You need to train this body into a powerful weapon first. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Was it a crime of passion? A revenge killing? Or did he stumble upon something he shouldn't have and get silenced for it? Haisher, she knows this place well. There are so many holes in the sea transport system here, and local smuggling and drug trafficking are rampant. A lot of so-called celebrities have a weak understanding of the law and a ton of shady income. She once busted a case where some famous person was using a beach house to throw parties and illegally sell contraband, or maybe it was a fight over inheritance. Cheng Ling glanced at the Cheng family father and son, deep in quiet discussion. Even though they claimed they wanted to join the entertainment industry of their own volition and refused to join their company, Cheng Ling had seen too many cases of family members turning on each other for money. Better keep what she discovered to herself. As the current captain of the H Rangers, she's experienced betrayal by her comrades and her adoptive father, so it's tough for her to trust anyone easily. While Cheng Ling was lost in thought, Mrs. Cheng, who was lying in the bed next to her, groaned. Xiao Ling. Brother Cheng rushed over. Mom, what's wrong? Mrs. Cheng struggled to sit up with her son's help. How's Xiao Ling? My sister's awake. Cheng Bushing stammered. It's just that she. That tone immediately worried Mrs. Cheng. She threw off the covers and got out of bed. Seeing Cheng Ling sitting upright, she was so shocked she nearly passed out again. Mr. Cheng half-supported Mrs. Cheng, rubbing her back. He said slowly, Xiao Ling may have temporary amnesia from the shock. What? Amnesia? Mrs. Cheng stared at her eldest daughter in disbelief. She pointed at her own nose and asked Cheng Ling, you don't remember your own mother? Cheng Ling slowly shook her head. Mrs. Cheng burst into tears. It's all my fault. I didn't take care of you. I had to try on that dress. My poor Linger. Cheng Ling felt a strange pang of guilt. She could only watch as Mr. Cheng rubbed Mrs. Cheng's back to comfort her, while Cheng Bushing hurriedly offered her a box of tissues. After using a few tissues to wipe her tears, Mrs. Cheng spoke, her eyes red and swollen. So, how do we treat Linger? She wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed to begin with, and now she's lost her memory. Cheng Ling. Mr. Cheng said, let's transfer her to another hospital. What good hospital is there in High City? We'll go back to Fengcheng and find an experienced doctor. Bushing has already contacted them. We'll fly back tomorrow morning. Bushing, the plane's booked, right? Cheng Bushing nodded. We can leave at 10. We shouldn't be late. If we waste time, it'll be harder for the airport to schedule our takeoff and flight path. Mrs. Cheng held Cheng Ling's hand, looked at her with tear-filled eyes, and gently stroked it. as if Cheng Ling's hand was made of glass and would break if she pressed too hard. This made Cheng Ling really uncomfortable. She'd never felt the care and love of family growing up. Right now, she felt like a thief. How could she enjoy their concern with a clear conscience? Xiao Ling, are you hurting anywhere else? Are you hungry? Thirsty? Cold? Does your head still ache? Cheng Ling faked a cough, pulled her hand away from Mrs. Cheng's grasp, and covered her mouth with it. Ahem. I feel okay, just a little tired. Mr. Cheng nodded, reached out to help Mrs. Cheng up from the hospital bed, and said to Cheng Ling, all right, then get some rest. Your mother's not doing so well today, physically or mentally. I'll take her out to eat and find a hotel. Your brother will stay with you. Tell him if you need anything. Then, he said to Brother Cheng, Xiao Sheng, take good care of your sister. You're going to have a long night, so don't fall asleep. Cheng Bushing said calmly, don't worry, Dad, Mom. Go get some rest. Mrs. Cheng leaned on her husband's shoulder and looked at her pale-faced daughter in the bed with concern. But, Mom, I'm fine, go on now. The hospital only allows one person to stay overnight. If you don't get rest and you're tired, we'll take care of your sister when we get back to Fengcheng. After repeated instructions, Mrs. Cheng was reluctantly dragged out of the hospital by Mr. Cheng. Cheng Bushing sat on a stool, watching his sister. Cheng Ling hadn't said a word. Her eyes darted between her parents and her own face, her brows slightly furrowed, her expression somewhat confused. Her eyes looked very sad. It was an expression he'd never seen on his sister's face before. It was heartbreaking. Instantly, he fully accepted the fact that his sister had lost her memory. His sister was sitting there like a complete stranger. Cheng Bushing suddenly felt awkward and at a loss. Hey, Xiaoling, are you hungry? Cheng Bushing broke the silence. Cheng Ling looked away from the ward door and smiled at Cheng Bushing. I'm not hungry. I asked the doctor, you can still have something. Cheng Bushing made small talk. I don't want to. Cheng Ling smiled. The ward fell silent again. Cheng Bushing sat on the stool, watching his sister leaning against the bed, staring at her fingers. He had no idea what she was thinking. Cheng Bushing spoke again. Do you need to use the restroom? Cheng Ling shook her head again. Oh, right, what kind of face mask do you use every day? Should I go out and buy some for you? Cheng Bushing stood up. No, thanks. Cheng Bushing sat down awkwardly. Cheng Ling glanced at Cheng Bushing, who looked like he was thinking, I'm here to take care of the patient. I'll feel uneasy if I don't do anything. She took the initiative to speak. Is my phone here? I want to look at it. Yeah. Cheng Bushing was relieved, feeling glad that he could finally do something for the patient. I would have forgotten if you hadn't reminded me. He took a phone from the bag hanging in the closet next to him and handed it to Cheng Ling. Cheng Bushing hesitated for a moment, but still spoke. About your drowning, maybe you shouldn't tell anyone about it yet. His sister used to post on Weibo and Moments to tell the world when she burned herself on a teacup. How could she possibly keep quiet about something as big as drowning? Unexpectedly, Cheng Ling took the phone with a serious expression. I definitely won't. I also want to tell you that it's best not to publicize my drowning. She wanted to see if he wanted the world to know about her drowning or not. Ah. Cheng Bushing was stunned. Okay. Also, I don't need to keep my amnesia a secret from the doctor. Cheng Bushing was very sharp. He glanced at Cheng Ling. He wasn't used to his sister, the brainless socialite known for being a pretty face, suddenly acting so shrewd. Why, did you notice something? Is there really someone who wants to hurt you? Cheng Ling smiled. The smile was strange. Well, who knows? Cheng Bushing was silent. Hey. Cheng Ling gritted her teeth and forced herself to say the word awkwardly, brother. Don't worry, and don't interfere, or you'll alert them. Maybe they're happy that I lost my memory. If I do anything unnecessary, I could be in danger. Got it, Cheng Bushing said gravely. Then I'll look at my phone for a bit. You should get some rest, brother. Even though Cheng Ling said she wasn't hungry, he decided to go to the vending machine in the hallway to buy some snacks and drinks. Brother Cheng pushed the door open and walked out. Cheng Ling waited until the ward door closed before breathing a sigh of relief, uncomfortable, but not repulsive. The phone unlocked with facial recognition, reading her face and opening with ease. There were 99 plus unread messages on WeChat, 999 plus unread messages on Weibo, and a bunch of text messages and calls that Cheng Ling didn't have time to read. Soon, she found what she wanted among the mess of apps on her phone. She typed Amos Joyce into the search bar. Breaking news. According to XX News Agency, Arkansas, USA, a South American drug lord was successfully killed and XX kilograms of drugs were seized. According to reports, the incident was organized by Amos Joyce. Amos Joyce is the most competitive politician running for governor in California. According to incomplete statistics after this incident, his approval rating has risen by 5% and is steadily increasing. Cheng Ling glanced at the date. It had been 5 days since she was shot. Her adoptive father was probably throwing a celebration party at his winery right now. Son of a bitch. But right now, revenge was just a pipe dream. She needed to rebuild this body into a killer and accumulate wealth and connections. Only when she was strong enough could she strike a fatal blow against her adoptive father. No, Amos Joyce. Revenge would have to be a long-term plan. Now, she needed to learn as much as possible about the original owner to figure out what her next step should be. The freedom she'd chased her whole life was finally hers. Ironically, the original owner was gone. All she could do for her was avenge her and live a good life for her. Where to start learning about the original owner? Cheng Ling picked up the phone. For modern people, a cell phone is a black box. It records every tiny aspect of a person's life. Some even say that the last thing a person should do before dying is restore their phone to factory settings to keep a clean slate in the world. Cheng Ling opened WeChat, then, she was utterly shocked. Chapter 6 Variety Show. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There are like 70 or 80 group chats on WeChat, all kinds of random eating, drinking, and hanging out groups, shopping groups, makeup groups, international shipping groups. Then there are the obvious ones, like groups for movie crews, classmates, roommates, friends, and family, and literally thousands of contacts. I swiped down through the unread messages a dozen times and still couldn't get to the bottom. The screen was covered in those little red notification dots. Cheng Ling was floored. Then she checked out the moment section, what Americans call feeds or stories. Seems like the previous owner liked to share her thoughts and day-to-day. She'd post, like, a dozen times a day, love this manicure, diamond suit for all diamond suit, picture, coconut, jackfruit, pineapple, fruit paradise. My diet is so shot. This X bubble tea is fire. Too bad I'm on a diet. Image, new swimsuit, obsessed. It makes me look so tan. Picture, OMG, Bai Muchuan is so hot. Bet his abs feel amazing. Picture. Cheng Ling tapped the picture to zoom in on Bai Muchuan in his swimming trunks. Then she looked at herself, this skinny, scrawny thing that looked like she couldn't bench press a house cat, and was totally bewildered. The original owner flew all the way from the north to Haishur and drowned for this string bean with no muscles. And she didn't even get with him yet. Just then, Cheng Baixing came back from shopping. He put the snacks on her bedside table and accidentally saw Bai Muchuan's face blown up huge on her phone screen. Cheng Baixing, instantly furious. WTF. You lost your memory, but still checking out Bai Muchuan. Seriously? Must be true love. Cheng Baixing felt like he'd swallowed a bug. Muttering, my sister has amnesia, she almost died, gotta stay calm. He turned away, totally bummed. Cheng Ling switched to her front-facing camera and stared at her reflection. Even though she was tired and pale, the original owner was right about one thing, this face was wasted on someone sitting in bed sick. Cheng Baixing psyched himself up and came back. He saw his sister admiring her own beauty in the front-facing camera and backed away again. Cheng Ling quickly went through all the photos, WeChat messages, texts, contacts, and basic info on the phone. The low battery warning popped up for the third time. She set the phone down and rubbed the bridge of her nose. Cheng Baixing finally spoke up. Here, give me your phone. I'll charge it. You should rest your eyes, too. You've been staring at that thing forever. Cheng Ling nodded and handed it over. Cheng Baixing plugged it in, and after a moment, blurted out, "Sis, I gotta ask, should I even say this?" Cheng Ling just looked at him, raising her eyebrows in question. "Okay, here goes. I just don't get it. What's so great about Bai Muchuan's pretty boy face? You've been around 800 better-looking dudes, and he looks like he's been living on ramen. Why are you so obsessed with this Bai Muchuan?" Cheng Ling stared at him, speechless. Finally, she pursed her lips and smiled. "You know what, bro? You're right. And now that I look at it, Bai Muchuan's kinda average. I'm officially over him." Cheng Baisheng was ecstatic. "Seriously? Awesome. Then let me tell your manager we're dropping out of Desperate Survival, okay?" Cheng Ling raised an eyebrow. "What's Desperate Survival?" "Just a wilderness survival show. See, when you heard Bai Muchuan was doing it, you had to be on it, too. But now that you're not into him, there's no point, right? The show already announced the cast, but people drop out all the time." Cheng Ling grabbed her phone, opened the Weibo app, and searched for Desperate Survival. Desperate Survival Program Group. Get ready for #Desperate Survival #, the Wild Survival Interactive Experience Reality Show of 2023. Supervised by @Xuanan, launching September 16 at 8 p.m. across Douyin, Kuaishou, and Douyu. Join us with 7 guests at Machuan, at Ling, at The World, at Take Your Time, at Strong Physical Training Contercoachal Dengfeng, at retired female athlete Yang Zhao, listed alphabetically, and a major mystery guest for a thrilling wilderness adventure. Picture, 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 picture. The official Weibo account posted promotional photos of the 6 announced contestants. The last picture was a silhouette of the mystery guest with a question mark over their face. All 6 were wearing matching casual outdoor gear sponsored by White Eagle Leisure Sports. Each wore a different color of the same outfit, with their name on the front and the sponsors' logos on the back. Retired athlete Yang Zhao was in grass green, parkour expert Lu Zhan was in light brown, fitness coach Lu Dengfeng was in sky blue camo, Old Turtle Dove was in cement gray, Cheng Ling was in black, and Bai Muchuan was in bright orange. Cheng Ling, dressed in black, checked herself out and was pretty impressed with the body she'd apparently woken up in. After admiring herself for a minute, she scrolled down to the comments. Bai Muchuan, the hottest ancient drama actor, fight me. Hope the show takes good care of my baby Muchuan. I'm tired of hating on Cheng Ling. Let's just carve our insults on her tombstone later. Heard you get 10k plus likes for roasting Cheng Ling. You know why Cheng Ling always plays villains? Because she's playing herself. Rumor, true. Cheng Ling only got on this show because she's sleeping with 2 sponsors. Had to. 2038 comments, 1950 hating on Cheng Ling. Are the other 80 or so having keyboard problems? Can't wait for Lu Zhan on the show. You're the best, dude. Gonna go with Old Turtle Dove as the winner. Dude crossed Guatemala solo and lived in India for 3 months on pocket change. Survived the Gobi, the Amazon, the list goes on. I feel kinda bad for Cheng Ling. She's cute and works hard. Can't she just do her thing? Here's my 50 cents. Where can I get a job writing fake positive comments? I hate Cheng Ling, but I wanna get paid. What's Cheng Ling even doing there? Is the show nuts? Can't wait to see Cheng Ling on the show. She was amazing in Desert Flower. Anyone know what kind of trash bags Cheng Ling uses? How can she hold so much trash? Anyone else care about the mystery guest? A bunch of Weibo topics were trending. #Evil Flower Cheng Ling joins Survival Squad. #Survival First Wilderness Show in China. Salute to Bear Grylls. #Watch Cheng Ling get cancelled online. #Hottest outdoor sports babe ever. Don't at me. Cheng Ling's makeup shot. #Tons of hate. Cheng Ling was a nobody, but her comment count blew quasi-famous Bai Muchuan out of the water. Weird, a few positive posts and trending topics were clearly bought and paid for. Fake, Cheng Bushing watched her face as she scrolled through the hate. He was getting nervous, he chuckled awkwardly. People online are like that, don't take it to heart. They're just jealous of how good you look. Dad and my older brother bought the nice comments and the trending topics, right? How much did they spend? Cheng Ling put down her phone. It wasn't that much. Cheng Bushing immediately clapped his hand over his mouth, so that's where the rumors about her sleeping with sponsors came from, a C-list actress with no talent or connections getting good roles. Naturally, people figured she must be hooking up with half the industry. Do you want to drop out? Cheng Bushing asked. Cheng Ling smirked. A mischievous look flashed in her eyes. Hell no. And please, no more fake good reviews. I'm gonna change everyone's mind about me the hard way. Cheng Bushing gave her a fist bump. He wasn't convinced, but he had to admire his sister's sheer confidence, hoping she wouldn't come home crying after getting roasted on TV. What? Cheng Ling has amnesia. Xian Man's eyes widened, the girl across from her nodded. Her name was Muingdi, a rich and well-connected woman. Her family had a long line of military service, giving her an air of command even when sitting casually. She's faking, right? Trying to get us off her back. Xian Man put out her cigarette and frowned. Muingdi shook her head. Don't know. Knowing Cheng Ling, she wouldn't pretend to have amnesia. Are you backing off? Xian Man asked. I want to test her first. She's rich and famous. I need to tread lightly, Muingdi said, lighting a cigarette. Xian Man immediately leaned forward with a lighter. Muingdi took a drag and blew out a smoke ring. My dad's in a sensitive spot next year. I don't want any trouble, Muingdi said, glancing at Xian Man through the smoke. Xian Man was silent, clenching her fists under the table. Also, Jiang Qiyun is coming home soon. Be careful what you say around him. And don't come looking for me lately. If you need anything, tell my driver, and he'll tell me. Xian Man's face dropped, but she quickly recovered, smiling. Like I'd bother you. Silence settled over them. Muingdi leaned back and finished her cigarette, stubbing it out in the ashtray. She raised her hand, and the bodyguard in black behind her handed her a crocodile-skin purse. Muingdi took out a bank card and set it on the table. Passwords all zeros. Lay low, stay out of sight. We'll meet again in 6 months. With that, Muingdi stood up, her bodyguards falling into step behind her. Xian Man watched her go, her expression venomous. Just as Muingdi reached the door, she turned back. Xian Man hadn't had time to mask her expression. She heard Muingdi say flatly, know your place. Don't stir up trouble. And check in on Cheng Ling. After all, she had her accident at your place. Xian Man didn't move until Muingdi's car had left the property. Then, she grabbed a crystal ashtray and slammed it against the marble floor. Next, she swept the teacups and pots off the table, sending them crashing to the ground. Damn it. She was so arrogant because of her family. Jiang Qiyun was coming back, and she was trying to look good. As if Jiang Qiyun was stupid. If they had a real chance, after all those years together they would have already developed something. Muingdi leaned back in the car seat and checked the flight info. The bodyguard asked, Xian Man, should we just ignore her? Forget her. If she causes trouble, bury her. Muingdi spun her phone in her fingers. But Cheng Ling, keep an eye on her, see if she's faking it. Don't want her messing things up for me. Yes, ma'am. Are you sure you don't want to meet Jiang? The bodyguard asked. Nah, Muingdi smiled. It's a long flight. Let him rest. Chapter 7 Mysterious Guest, Jiang Qiyun, Male 2nd. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fengqing International Airport, 2 airport workers were putting up a large survivor poster on the wall. As they worked, one said, Man, Cheng Ling is really hot. What's so great about her? The other replied. It's all makeup. With today's Photoshop, you could make a pig look like a supermodel. Still, Cheng Ling's something else. She's been around forever, they've thrown money at her, but she's still a nobody. No kidding. She's so fake, and her acting is worse than the kids playing pretend down at the kindergarten. And she's always chasing after guys. Isn't she after Bai Muchuan right now? Lost in their gossip, they didn't notice a group of people walking out of the gate. Leading the way was a tall, slender guy with slightly long black hair, sunglasses, and a black mask, his face completely hidden. From his perfectly tailored casual clothes, it was clear he was either loaded or famous. Behind him were 7 or 8 people who looked like bodyguards and assistants, carrying suitcases and bags. The man strode toward the parking lot, passing the poster crew without a glance. After a few steps, he stopped, the group behind him halted and looked around. He turned back and walked to the posters, staring at Cheng Ling's smiling face on the wall. Then his gaze shifted to Bai Muchuan, whose pale complexion suggested a serious lack of sleep. The staff finished and one stepped back to check their work, bumping into someone. "Sorry," he said quickly. Looking up, he froze. Wow, this guy was tall and oozed charisma. The man, still fixed on Cheng Ling's photo, said softly, "No problem." That voice. The worker was stunned, like strong whiskey with ice, or the wind whispering through a bamboo forest, or waves crashing against a lonely island. Was that Jiang Qiyun, the movie star and music king? Everyone in China knew the name Jiang Qiyun. He debuted as a teenager, becoming a sensation playing a young emperor in a TV series. He wrote and sang the theme song, which became a massive hit. Then came albums, TV shows, movies, and awards from home and abroad. Just 6 months ago, the 27-year-old actor announced his retirement and headed overseas for further studies. No one knew when he would return. Could it really be Jiang Qiyun? An assistant, Mike, leaned forward and asked quietly, "Mr. Jiang?" The 2 staff members' eyes widened. The man repeated softly, "It's okay." His tone wasn't friendly, it really was Jiang Qiyun. One of the staff almost screamed. Jiang Qiyun lowered his sunglasses and put a finger to his lips, signaling for silence. If people knew Jiang Qiyun was here, the airport would be in chaos. The 2 staff members clapped their hands over their mouths and nodded. Jiang Qiyun turned his head. Mike understood and pulled out 2 pieces of Jiang Qiyun merchandise and 2 signed CDs from his bag, handing them to the workers. Then, Jiang Qiyun waved and left the airport with his entourage, without a backward glance. As his figure disappeared, the 2 staff members whispered, "Jiang Qiyun. Oh my God. I met Jiang Qiyun. He's back." In the back of a long black car, Jiang Qiyun, still masked, turned to Mike. "Why did Survivor cast those 2 nobodies? I said I wanted the show to be authentic." Mike started to speak, but Jiang Qiyun, pulling off his mask impatiently, cut him off. "I'll ask myself." He took out his phone, found Fu Yibin in his contacts, and dialed. It was answered immediately. Fu Yibin said obsequiously, "Wow, Boss Jiang, you just landed, right? What can I do for you?" Jiang Qiyun said flatly, "Do you know why I didn't let you announce my participation in Survival of the Dead beforehand?" Fu Yibin paused. "To make the show more exciting," Jiang Qiyun said coldly, "No. So I can back out at any time if you mess up." Fu Yibin sputtered, "Boss. You don't have to treat me like that. This is my first reality show. If you weren't broke, I wouldn't have agreed. I had conditions. The show has to be real, no scripts, and no ringers. So what's with these 2 weak celebrities you snuck in? Get rid of them." "You mean Bai Muchuan and Cheng Ling?" Fu Yibin sounded uncomfortable. "I can't just drop them." "Oh," Jiang Qiyun said. "Then I quit." No. Boss, please. This show is saving my skin." Fu Yibin nearly cried. "I've already talked a big game. If this show flops, my dad will destroy Fuihai." Jiang Qiyun said nothing. Fu Yibin gritted his teeth. "Fuihai forced Bai Muchuan on me. He said if I didn't cast Bai Muchuan, he'd screw me over. I can't risk that. As for Cheng Ling, her people made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Jiang Qiyun raised an eyebrow. Which was? 15 million. Jiang Qiyun hung up. Fu Yibin called back. Jiang Qiyun rejected the call, again, rejected. Finally, Fu Yibin called Mike's phone. Mike glanced at Jiang Qiyun, who nodded. Hey, Mike. Get Jiang over here. We need to talk. Mike, who had a normal American name, looked at Jiang helplessly. Jiang Qiyun nodded. Mike answered on speaker. Before he could say anything, Fu Yibin burst out. Listen, I've invested everything I have. Directors, producers, stage managers, art team, sound team, music team, marketing team, I'm broke. You know I wouldn't sell out if I wasn't desperate. You're not hitting me up for money, are you? Jiang Qiyun finally spoke. Fu Yibin heard the change in his tone and played his ace. How could I? I've already spent every sponsorship dollar making the show real and safe. Jiang Qiyun sighed. I'll trust you this time. But those two actors better pull their weight and not cause me problems. Fu Yibin made promises. You bet. I'll tell the director myself. Hanging up, Jiang Qiyun rubbed his forehead. He didn't have many friends, and Fu Yibin was one. Otherwise, he wouldn't have helped. Mike, withdraw 20 million from the fund. I need it. Also, get me info on all the guests, ASAP. Jiang Qiyun thought of the staff members' comments at the airport, frowned, and added, especially the woman named Cheng Ling. Mike said, got it, but there's something I should probably say. Go ahead. If you're serious about this show, stay away from Cheng Ling. Why? She's a plague on the industry. A total fame whore. No brains, no talent, no reputation. She survived this long purely by luck. Jiang Qiyun smiled. Think I can't handle a girl? She's about to learn what Jiang Qiyun is really like. Chapter 8, Chase Another Man. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The transfer went off without a hitch. After all, Dad Cheng knew how to make money. Soon, their private jet touched down. The housekeeper arrived with 2 cars, a spacious van and a family sedan. Mom Cheng wasn't feeling well, so she took the sedan home. Dad Cheng, Brother Cheng, and Cheng Ling piled into the van with the housekeeper and headed straight to the hospital. The best neurologists in the country gave Cheng Ling a thorough examination. They ran every test imaginable, from blood work to brain scans, but after all that, they found nothing. The lead doctor adjusted his glasses and told Dad Cheng in his office, her condition is unusual. For now, it's best to just observe her and let things take their course without medication. Dad Cheng nodded. The doctor continued, also, try not to be too overprotective, as that could make her anxious. Let her gradually get used to her surroundings. Bring her back for regular checkups, and of course, if she displays any strange behavior, bring her in right away. Leaving the office, Brother Cheng and the housekeeper rushed over to greet him. Cheng Ling stayed put on the bench. Cheng Baisheng questioned his father with a look. Dad Cheng shook his head. They couldn't find anything specific. The doctor thinks the accidental drowning may have caused some memory loss from the shock. It could clear up on its own. Just be observant and get her medical attention if anything seems off. Try not to stress her out. Only Cheng Ling knew her memory wasn't coming back. When the car pulled up, Cheng Ling stepped out and stared at the 5-story mansion. She couldn't help but whistle. Underestimated how loaded the Cheng family was. A gazebo sat in the front yard, while a pool and basketball court stretched out back. In Maple City, where real estate was gold, a spread like this was serious money. Inside, the servants bustled about, organized and efficient. The Cheng family must have given them a heads up because no one paid much attention to Cheng Ling as she looked around, which was fine. After polite greetings, they went back to work. Still, Cheng Ling could sense their curiosity and veiled interest. The front door swung open, and a girl with short hair ran out, yelling, "Sis!" Cheng Ling let her wrap her in a hug. Are you okay, sis? Cheng Xiaomei asked, her voice choked with tears. A bit awkwardly, Cheng Ling patted her hair. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm back, aren't I? The tone was gruff but gentle. Cheng Xiaomei looked up at her in surprise. Did you really lose your memory? Normally, her sister would have shoved her off. Cheng Ling sighed and nodded. Whoa! That's like a movie. Cheng Xiaomei grabbed Cheng Ling's arm and dragged her inside, chattering away. I heard you fell into the sea. What happened? Didn't Bai Muchuan save you? He's the hero, right? Will you finally get together? Cheng Ling was used to casually flirting with teammates, but this was the first time anyone had grabbed her arm like this. She suppressed her discomfort at this unusual display of affection and said calmly, no. It had nothing to do with him. Mr. and Mrs. Cheng stood close, watching Cheng Ling enter the house, her movements stiff, her posture tense. Tears welled up in Mom Cheng's eyes. It doesn't matter that Linger lost her memory. How long has it been since the two sisters were this close? It's making me cry. Dad Cheng put his arm around his wife's shoulders. Come on now, cry if you must, but don't use my clothes as a tissue. This suit cost a fortune. Cheng Baixing told the butler to manage the luggage, and help the kitchen and servants set the table. Soon, the family was sitting down for a lively meal. The food was top-notch, better than most fancy restaurants. Cheng Ling had been traveling and given a ton of blood on an empty stomach. By now, she was starving. The food was great, so she dug in. She devoured a whole plate. Dad Cheng dabbed his mouth, watched Cheng Ling sip her juice, and asked, I hear from your brother that you're over by Muchuan. Is that true? Cheng Ling set down her glass. Yeah, I'm not into him anymore. Mom Cheng looked surprised. Huh? You don't like Xiao Bai anymore? Who do you like now? Cheng Xiaomei chimed in. Yeah, sis, who's the target this time? Cheng Ling was speechless. Was the original owner that desperate? Did she always have to be chasing some guy? TSK. Cheng Xiaomei was all action. She pulled out her phone, opened a celebrity gossip app, filtered the results, and began scrolling through potential candidates, showing the screen to Cheng Ling. How about him? He's got bedroom eyes, and he looks like a Shiba Inu when he smiles. Oh, Da Fei. He's the new it boy. Cheng Xiaomei wouldn't shut up, and Cheng Ling knew that if she didn't pick someone soon, she'd be talking until dawn. Cheng Ling glanced at the screen. Rows of heavily filtered male celebrities stared back, but one guy hadn't airbrushed his photos into oblivion. He was wearing a simple black t-shirt and looked athletic and approachable. Cheng Ling pointed. Him. Everyone's eyes widened. Cheng Ling. Did she just make a mistake? He's good-looking, right? Does he have some dark past? Mom Cheng asked, didn't you always say Jiang Qiyun was as exciting as a century-old antique? Cheng Mianhu added, you even wrote a bunch of posts criticizing those articles that compared Bai Muchuan to Jiang Qiyun, saying you wouldn't date Jiang Qiyun if he begged you on his knees. Cheng Bushing chimed in, didn't you say his muscles were gross? Dad Cheng. He nodded in agreement. Cheng Ling. I lost my memory. Can't I have lost my memory and changed my taste in men? Cheng Ling replied, exasperated. Sure. Okay. I'm all for it. I've always liked Jiang Qiyun, but I was afraid to say anything because you hated him, Cheng Mianhu said with a grin. He's handsome, a great actor, has a great voice, and has never had any scandals. He's perfect. What could Cheng Ling say? She went back to her food. Mom Cheng thought that her love-obsessed daughter finally had better taste, and she felt relieved. Don't worry about guys. Just relax at home for a few days. Your aunt and I will go to Qingyun Temple soon to pray for your memory to come back. Dad Cheng's phone rang. He answered it, looked at the screen, and said to his son, Xiaosheng, how's the defense against those foreign cyber attacks on the company's public relations module? That while Cheng Ling had been in trouble, her dad and brother had been dealing with these attacks, but lives were at stake, so they dropped everything and flown to Haishur. Without Cheng Bushing's support, the attacks had been hitting hard. Cheng Bushing was a computer genius who'd graduated from T University. Now, he was a company executive, but he still oversaw the tech department. This foreign cyber attack was serious. The company's web page kept crashing or switching to a full screen of porn, and the app was constantly down. they'd barely beaten back one wave of attacks when the next one came, over and over. Their security system had vulnerabilities, and it was hard to fix them quickly. Hearing this, Cheng Bushing lost his appetite. He put down his chopsticks, frowned, and said, "They're relentless this time. It's going to take a while to recover. I'm thinking 10 days, maybe half a month." Dad Cheng said, I'm going to call Wu, Lu, and a few others over. We'll work overtime in the computer room." Cheng Bushing pulled out his phone. The Cheng family villa had a fully equipped computer room because the Cheng family understood that in the information age, you had to control the internet to stay in business. After sending the message, Cheng Bushing leaned over to discuss the situation with his father. Meanwhile, Cheng Ling was listening intently. Her chopsticks remained motionless in her hand. Chapter 9 Sneaking into the Computer Room. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiao Ling. Cheng's mother noticed her daughter acting strangely. "Why aren't you eating?" Cheng Ling snapped out of it, put down her chopsticks, grabbed a napkin, and dabbed her mouth. "I'm full. You ate so little." Mother Cheng started to say, then glanced at the empty plates in front of Cheng Ling. She had put away a lot of steak, lobster, sweet and sour ribs, and salad. Surprised, Cheng's mother changed her tune. "Not bad. Looks like you're recovering well." Cheng Ling smiled and glanced at Father Cheng and Brother Cheng, who were frowning and deep in discussion. She hesitated, then set down her silverware, pushed back her chair, and stood up. "I'm going back to my room." "Sis, wait a sec." Little sister Cheng put down her knife and fork, wiped her lips with a napkin, and stood up too. "Do you even remember where your room is?" "Nope." "Come on, I'll show you." Little sister Cheng hadn't been this nice in ages. Well, maybe nice wasn't the right word. She peeked at Cheng Ling's face. Although she seemed indifferent, she wasn't pushing her away. The two headed upstairs. "Sis, this is your room." Little sister Cheng stopped at the door, looking at Cheng Ling expectantly. Cheng Ling looked back. "Aren't you coming in?" "Well, you usually don't let me in." Little sister Cheng whispered. "Come on in, if you want." "Really? You're not mad?" Even as she asked, little sister Cheng had already opened the door and stepped inside. It had been ages since she'd been in her sister's room, and it felt weird. She looked around for a while, but didn't hear Cheng Ling following. Turning, she saw Cheng Ling standing at the doorway, her mouth slightly open, a look of shock on her face. "Sis, what's wrong?" "This is my room." "Yeah," little sister Cheng nodded. To be honest, Cheng Ling was reluctant to even step inside. The room was huge, at least 2,000 square feet, decorated in full-on princess mode, plush carpets, cushions, slippers, a diamond-covered vanity mirror, lace curtains, and star-studded windows. It looked like the perfect room for a little girl. The problem was, Cheng Ling was no longer a little girl. Back in her engineering days, Ling's bedroom had been simple: a high-powered computer, a bed, and a wardrobe. The computer could wipe the hard drive with one click, and there was nothing on the bed that could give her away. Simple as it gets. This, however, reeked of teenage girl. Cheng Ling stood at the door, unsure where to start. Finally, she apologized in her mind. Sorry, but I can't sleep in a place like this. I'll have nightmares. For the sake of our shared memories, I have to change things up. Hope you can forgive me, star. And she started cleaning. Little sister Cheng was confused, but still helped, and even called the housekeeper. The commotion got Brother Cheng's attention, then eventually even Father and Mother Cheng showed up. After more than an hour, Cheng Ling had finally cleared out all the girly princess stuff. "If there's anything else you need, tell Uncle Zhang," the housekeeper. "He'll get it for you tomorrow," Father Cheng said, wiping his forehead. Cheng Ling nodded, then laid it all out. 3 quantum-level desktop computers, a bunch of monitors that can be connected, and a top-of-the-line laptop. "Oh, and I need dedicated high-speed network cables with IP masking, and a set of fitness equipment, adjustable dumbbells, high-density weights, a simulated shooting setup, a few more sets of workout clothes, and hydrogen-running shoes. And, oh yeah, a dagger that feels good in my hand." That with each word, the mouths of the people in the room dropped open a little further. by the end, everyone could have caught flies. The housekeeper glanced at Father Cheng. Has she really lost her memory? Father Cheng, yeah, she has. Her personality's totally different, and so are her hobbies. Better just get her what she wants, Butler, yes, sir, don't worry. 4 a.m., Cheng family villa, computer room. Cheng Baisheng and 5 guys from the Cheng Group's tech department were yawning non-stop. Lu Gong drained his black coffee, but still couldn't keep his eyes open. He stood and rubbed his aching back. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I'm gonna go wash my face. Cheng Baisheng was also at his limit. He'd been up late at the hospital, then up all night coding. His brain was fried. Lu Gong was the most energetic of the programmers, and even he was tapped out. It was pointless to keep going. Gong Lu, hold up on the face wash, Cheng Baisheng said, typing the last line of code and hitting enter. He stood up from his stool. Let's call it quits for tonight. We're not getting anything done. I'll have the new chef fix something for everyone, then send the driver to take you home. Get some rest, and we'll get back at it. The tech expert sighed in relief and quickly agreed. Cheng Baisheng walked out of the computer room. It was in the back of the house. The chef lived in the front. He pulled out his phone and headed that way, but then he heard running. Turning, he saw Cheng Ling in a tracksuit and running shoes, his sister, running at 4 a.m. Cheng Ling glanced at the building he'd just left, and wiped her forehead with a towel. Hey, did you just get off work? Yeah. Cheng Baisheng stared, wondering if he was hallucinating from sleep deprivation. You're running. Yup, getting ready for the show, right? Cheng Ling said, glancing toward the computer room again. Did you guys just finish up? The system crashed from yesterday's attack, still fixing it? Going back in. Cheng Baisheng was flattered. His sister actually cared about his work. He nodded. Yeah. Don't worry about it. I was going to get the kitchen to make something, then we're heading home to crash. He looked exhausted, trying to stay awake. Okay, go for your run. Don't push yourself too hard, though. Cheng Ling nodded. On her 8th lap, she noticed Cheng Baisheng sending 5 unsteady guys out the gate. On her 10th lap, she saw the lights in Cheng Baisheng's room flicker on and off. On her 11th lap, Cheng Ling stopped outside the computer room and wiped her sweat. The computers were still humming inside. She stretched for a few minutes, then took a paperclip from her collar, bent it skillfully, and stuck it into the lock. A few twists later, the lock clicked. Cheng Ling opened the door and went inside. Chapter 10. So, let's get started. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cheng Baisheng was dead asleep. When his cell phone rang, it felt like he'd just closed his eyes. It was the company's tech department. He jolted awake. Hello. Problem again? Cheng Baisheng asked, his voice still thick with sleep. He listened to the tech director's report and pinched himself. He had to be dreaming. What? The company's security system automatically upgraded, embedding AI logic that allows it to upgrade and write code for defense and counterattack based on the attack. What? Those little bugs that had been plaguing the company forever, the ones nobody dared to touch for fear of crashing the whole program, were fixed. What? The company's app runs 10 times faster now. What the heck was going on? The tech director said, we traced the security upgrade's IP address back to your home. So, in his sleep-deprived haze last night, inspiration struck, and he became a computer whiz? Awesome. He, Cheng Baisheng, had been hailed as a rising star in the computer industry since childhood, and he was living up to the name. Also, we found some unusual traces in the error logs after the upgrade. Cheng Baisheng was wide awake now. You're saying there's a mole? The tech director confirmed, yes. Someone leaked our defense system, which made the attack so intense. Give me half an hour. I'll be at the office. After fixing her brother's security hole, Cheng Ling slipped back to her room to shower. Job done, no need for thanks. She grinned as she showered. She hadn't felt this sore in ages. This body was too weak. A measly 6 kilometers nearly killed her. Stepping out of the shower, Cheng Ling examined herself in the full-length bathroom mirror. Even with her critical eye, she had to admit this body wasn't bad. A little skinny, maybe, but surprisingly curvy in all the right places. With looks like these, she should be in Hollywood. Cheng Ling opened the closet. Ugh, she sighed and dug through a pile of avant-garde outfits, finally unearthing a set of casual outdoor clothes. They looked familiar, the outfit she wore for the survival promo photos. Cheng Ling grimaced as she pulled on the clothes. Honestly, she was actually looking forward to survival. Back in the day, to complete a mission, Cheng Ling once survived alone in the Amazon rainforest for 6 weeks. She'd been bitten by poisonous insects, tangled in pythons, attacked by wild animals, sunk in mud, and chased by indigenous tribes, but she'd always escaped unscathed. A little reality show. No sweat, plus, she loved this feeling. She even anticipated the advantage of being a seasoned pro. Filming started in a month. She wanted to get in shape before then. Leg muscle exercises, shoulder muscles, back strength, arm strength, every muscle and joint needed a good workout. For her muscle-building mission, she headed to the kitchen and asked the chef to whip up a high-protein meal. Her father was already at work, so only her mother and younger sister, Cheng Xiaomei, joined her for breakfast: 2 eggs, half a pound of beef, a tall glass of whole milk, a huge bowl of chicken breast salad. Cheng Ling devoured everything. When she looked up, her mom and sister were staring at her, mouths agape. "Xiaoling, are you eating this much lately? Are you feeling okay? What did the doctor say?" Her mother was both relieved and concerned. "Yeah, sis, aren't you worried about gaining weight?" Cheng Xiaomei asked. "You never used to eat this much in a whole day. The doctor said it's normal." "I'll probably gain some weight, but it'll be mostly muscle," Cheng Ling explained. "I'm going on a survival show soon. It's good to be strong." Seeing her daughter working so hard, her mother was still hesitant. "Maybe you should drop out and do something else. We could fund that novel script you liked before and cast you as the lead. Why do such a dangerous show? And you don't even like Xiao Bai anymore." Cheng Ling took a big gulp of milk. "I'm interested in the show. The producers are probably afraid we'll get hurt, so they've made plenty of preparations. Besides, the announcement's already out. It wouldn't be right to quit. My fans would be bummed." Asterisk, you have no fans asterisk, her mother thought, but she kept it to herself. The doctor said Xiaoling had memory loss and couldn't be stressed. "Okay," she said and switched topics to her younger daughter. "Eat up. Stop chatting. You'll be late for school." Cheng Xiaomei swallowed her food and looked at her sister with pleading eyes. "Sis, will you be home tonight? Can we play games when you get back?" Cheng Ling nodded. Cheng Xiaomei happily set down her silverware, grabbed her backpack, and hopped into the car amid her mother's constant reminders: "Wipe your mouth. Wipe your hands. Goodness, you're so messy." After her daughter left, Cheng's mother said to Cheng Ling, "Your sister has been sad about you being cold these years. Truthfully, she loves you the most. She even got into a fight because someone said your acting skills were bad. She's taking the college entrance exam soon, so spend time with her and be patient." Cheng Ling watched Xiaomei waving through the car window. "I know. I will not be impatient." After wiping her hands, the housekeeper approached and said everything Cheng Ling requested yesterday was ready. He asked if now was a good time for the installation. Cheng Ling agreed. With the housekeeper and a team of helpers, she returned to her room for a makeover. After all the commotion, the room was completely transformed from a delicate young lady's space. The dressing table was replaced with a large desk. Following Cheng Ling's instructions, several widescreen monitors were placed on the desk, each connected to a powerful computer with superior processing speed. In the corner by the window were a rowing machine, various size dumbbells, a treadmill, and pull-up equipment. The bedding was changed to light brown, and notepads and laptops were placed on the bedside table. The only decorative item was an abstract painting on the ivory wall. Cheng Ling had spotted it in the villa's hallway and liked it. It was a genuine piece by a French abstract painter, After dismissing the housekeeper and closing the door, Cheng Ling sat at the computer and powered on the machine with the best processing speed. Once it booted up, she expertly added a protective shield, hiding IP, blocking abnormal network access, reverse IP tracking, and a triple-layered privacy defense system. Like a soldier checking their weapons and armor before heading into battle, serious and focused, after everything was set up and double-checked, Cheng Ling took a deep breath and said to herself in front of the computer, "All right, let's do this."